Legends, hi, how are we going? I hope you are well. Hope you survived that huge market crash that we had in the past 24 hours. Not really sure where that came from. There was no news or anything. There certainly was areas of, like the stop losses that were here and here got taken out. There was a lot of leverage long after the FOMC statement. So when Powell came out and said that he was going to, well, when he came out and cut rates, everybody went long, thinking it was going to be great, and it was for stocks and gold. If you look at that chart, it's just been up only for a long, long time. But crypto just doesn't seem to want to do anything, even with all the huge buying from Michael Saylor and the rest of those people that are doing treasury company stuff. Price still wants to go down. So this liquidation block got taken out, and then this one got taken out. So now, that caused a cascade and just sent price all the way down to here. Now we have, after that, we've had price go sideways for a bit. So now that there's this liquidation block here and here. So you've got people that shorted the dump, and their stops will be here, and then you've got people that longed the dump down here, and their stops will be here. And it's been bouncing around this area for the past, since it dumped, so since overnight, right? Will be interesting to see what happens. So do we get a wick down here, take out these stops, then run? Or does it go the other way around? Who knows? But these things do act like a magnet, so one of these is going to get taken out. Which one will get taken out first? Here's the chart as it stands now. So we've had price come down from, so this is the area after FOMC and price went up. Everybody was celebrating. Then it came back and just reversed the whole thing. And then we got the liquidation cascade all the way down to here, so which is just the top of back in May. So it's a support resistance flip. We haven't really broken below that. We haven't touched this trend line. We haven't fallen below this one. We haven't touched the 200 EMA. We have broken the daily 50, but we haven't touched this. So overall, things are still okay. Here's the S&P stock market. It's just been up only. Like, this is when Trump said, hey, it's a good time to buy stocks. He tweeted it out. And then it's just been up only ever since. So it's just not stopping. I think, people in the stock market are going, well, are they going to print more? They're probably going to print more money. Interest rates are going to keep going down. So we need to go and buy hard assets. Stocks are roaring. Here's gold. It's doing the same thing, absolutely ripping. New all-time highs. This is the daily, which is just closed by the looks of it on this chart. New all-time highs at about, 3,750. Bitcoin just not following. Crypto is not following at all. If you believe in seasonality, this is normal. September is bad. So I've found this before. Here's the monthly returns. September, on average, is the worst month of the year. Even though it's been green for the last 3 years, traditionally, on average, it's the worst. It's also the worst in stocks, but, this year, completely different. Stocks ripping. October and November are the best months. So, so if we don't get a good Q4, October, November, it could be over. It could be over for the cycle. It does line up with a 4-year cycle. I think, even if it is good in October, November, you should be taking some profit. Some people are calling for it to run into January, February 2026. If we go back and look at the stock market, it could very well keep doing that. So, but as much as it looks like crypto should be correlated to the stock market, it just doesn't seem to be right now. So here's ETH, double top all-time highs, and then come back down. And we are retesting the top of this part. So, from a TA perspective, pretty normal. Nothing to be worried about. From a sentiment perspective, though, everybody is, it's all over. And, maybe it is, maybe it's not. The chart doesn't say that it is. The chart just says it's a pullback in a wider bull market. But the problem is everyone's comparing it to where we've been in the past and what the stock market and commodities are doing now. The other problem is that we've got alts just not doing anything at all. So that's the alts that people are buying now, like the newer ones. Been seeing this alt season chart shared around a lot, more and more recently, as you share it and then more things get shared over and over. But it's saying even as recently as a couple of days ago, we were in alt season. And and now we're not. And it's very confusing. Like alt season goes for weeks and then sort of dies out. It doesn't become alt season for a day and then stop. Okay. So, what does this chart actually calculate? So it says if 75% of the top 50 coins performed better than Bitcoin over the last season, 90 days, it's altcoin season. Excluded from the top 50 are stable coins and assets and asset-backed tokens like wrapped Bitcoin, staked Ether, and things like that, right? So derivatives of the tokens themselves and stable coins. That's not what alt season is, really. If you ask the community, what's alt season? Alt season is when everything pumps together. At the very least, it's large caps pump, then mid caps pump, then small caps pump, and then it's over. We haven't had any of that. And the top 50 performing better than Bitcoin within 90 days, that's not alt season. So, take this with a grain of salt. If you look at the yearly, what does it say? It's not altcoin year. This is probably more like it, right? I don't know what this is. Something must have blipped up and rocketed and skewed the numbers. But yeah, it's sort of been like last year, at the end of last year, there was a lot of alts that were ripping. So yeah, it was kind of good, kind of altcoin-ish, alt season-ish, but it definitely wasn't anything like the mania that we saw in 21 or in 2017. That's what people are wanting, and we're not there. So yeah, I mean, from a yearly perspective, I think we're about here. So this is probably more accurate. Don't look at the the last 90 days sort of thing. On high time frames for Bitcoin, it's looking like, from a bearish perspective, it's looking like a top. It's looking like head and shoulders. Like you've even got a bear div, right? So we want to hope that this doesn't break here, right? Otherwise, we'll be heading back down to where the 50 is, and that's not good. So potentially like where this line is, so around the top of here. Let's draw a fib on that. What do we get? Yeah, so it's like the 382. So maybe there. So like 104, 105. Now, in terms of a bull market pullback, again, that's like 15% from the top. That's still tiny in terms of, cycles and whatever. We've seen worse in a bull market. This one here, which was back in 2021, went back 30%. That was in early January. Yeah, so I think it's more frustration from people, because a lot of people aren't holding as much Bitcoin as they should, and you've got the stock market ripping and gold ripping, and you've got the DATs buying everything, but it's not going up. Is Pump Fun the darling? So people have been celebrating Pump going up, so that has even dropped a huge amount. So that's dropped 38%. So that's going to upset people, right? So those people are sad. I'd say pretty much the only people that are happy right now are the people that bought Aster down here. I am not one of them. It's had a huge run, so about 3x from here. So you would have had to be on the ball to get in here. And around here, this is when CZ tweeted out about Aster. And for me, this happened at like 2 a.m. So, of course, I totally missed it. When I woke up in the morning, it was here, and I didn't do anything about it. Silly me. But those, so congrats to everybody that did. And it's had a good run. Come back now, sort of meandering around here. It's held up well during the dump. So people that are on Aster are probably the only happy people right now. It's sort of like a mini Binance Smart Chain season. They've had a couple of runners over the last couple of days feeding off of this. Where is this going to go? Who knows? I don't really want to comment on it too much because I don't know too much about it. It's obviously just a perps DEX that is trying to compete with Hyperliquid, but it's a rebranding of a DEX which has been around for a very, very long time. So nothing has changed in terms of the DEX itself. It's just a new coat of paint. So if it wasn't good before, why is it good now? It's probably just the CZ factor. So who knows? Who knows? So if it's something that you want to check out, do so, do your own research, get online and have a look at it. It's from a trader's perspective, it's certainly got the volume. So if you want, trade the swings on something that has positive sentiment from people, this is probably going to be the one. Because the alternative is trading something like this is Fartcoin, right? used to be super popular. Everyone would talk about it. Price would go up. Now nobody talks about it, and it's looking very sad indeed. Way back down to March price levels now, which is support resistance flip. Will it come back? Who knows? I don't hold any of this, but if you're wanting to buy something and buy the dip on something, it needs to be something that other people are going to buy, and if nobody's paying attention to it, it's not going to go up no matter how good you think it is. I mean, this is knife catching stuff if you're buying Fartcoin versus something like this, which looks more like a bull flag to me. So I mean, this is up, pretty much up only. Everyone's happy, good vibes. You're going to have more chance of winning on this than you will when you got charts that look like this. Here's Troll, looks absolutely disgusting. Probably like it looks like it wants to come all the way back here. This is Dog with Hat. I mean, again, it used to be popular. It still has a bunch of holders and they still love it, but the chart just looks sad. And will it come back? It might need a market-wide altcoin pump to get this going. Does it have a narrative on its own? It did back here. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone, the memes were everywhere. The dog has a hat. Like, everything has a hat. It's like, oh, you're going to buy this? Yeah, but does it have a hat? Like, right? Nobody says that anymore. And look what happens, right? All of these things are tied to Solana. The older memes, the 2023, 2024 memes, they're very correlated to Solana. So if Solana's having a good time, so will these. Pepe is much the same. Like, it just looks the same as the whiff chart. I just go back. Here's whiff. Here's Pepe. Whiff. Pepe. They're correlated. They look the same. Yeah, but they're all tied together. Here's the Doge chart on the daily. Looks okay. Looks good. There is a DAT coming. The launch is soon. If it hasn't already launched, I think it might have. So it will have tailwinds with the big funds trying to buy it. Currently 24 cents. Recent highs were at 46. So, maybe a double if you buy spot. If you're on leverage, you would probably do something like this. Have the stops underneath here. Maybe give yourself a bit of wiggle room. You could run it all the way up to here, which would be 1 to 7 risk reward. Not a bad trade. All depends on October. I think like September's done. The vibes are dead. Everybody's licking their wounds. So wait for a recovery, reloading sort of thing. This is knife catching stuff, like I said, but depends how much risk you want to take. Here it is on the weekly, and it's been higher highs and higher lows. So I mean, from this perspective, it looks fine. Like, we're currently here, so we're retesting this area and then potentially launching. So it's not bad. It's not a bad spot. Now here's Solana. So let's draw a line in about here, I think, about 220. You definitely don't want to go below the 50. Seems fine. It is a massive drop, but seems fine. Seems fine. It just needs to hold this, and it could take a while to recover. Just along, the same with all the other charts. Could take a while to recover and build a base, and then keep going. Like, here's the trend. It's following the 50-ish. Like, yeah. So we stay in this, should be fine. I think we can safely say that the bear div that was here played out. So that's done and dusted. The RSI is back at the 50, so everything's reset on that one. Quick check of the CoinGlass bull market peak indicators, sell at the top page, and they're all not hitting anywhere at all. It's all hold 100%. Rainbow chart, the ratio, MVRV, Z-score, long-term holder supply, hodl ratio, Mayer multiple, they're all X's. Here's performance in cycle lows. That's the Genesis one. We'll get rid of that. 2015, probably not worth looking at either. So this is the 2017 run-up. This was the last one with FTX blowing up, and that's this one here, underperforming, relatively speaking. Here's the top, and then here's the top. So if we're going by seasonality, we do not have much time left at all. Only like a month or so to go, and it's done. Could it be done here? Who knows? Maybe one more push, and then it's done. Here's the CoinShares fund flows report from last week. Good inflows, looking healthy. Digital assets saw almost 2 billion in inflows. Bitcoin and ETH, Solana 127 and Ripple got 70. So here's iShares with the most, Grayscale selling a bit, but overall inflows are good. Most into Bitcoin, ETH, and Solana, a little bit of Ripple, not much else anywhere else. So if you are investing, trying to ride the coattails of the larger players, those are probably the ones that you want to focus on. Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, and Ripple. Most countries are in too. So everything's good from a TradFi perspective. Speaking of TradFi, here's Michael Saylor. What is interesting, I don't know if interesting is the right word, but every time he posts a chart like this and says, oh, it needs more orange dots, meaning that he's going to buy, and then you get one of these later on and says, oh, Strategy's acquired more Bitcoin. Every time that happens, Bitcoin dumps. And I don't get it. It shouldn't be, because the DATs are buying so much. So, what is going on? There definitely is a lot of derivatives these days. Like, there's heaps of paper Bitcoin being traded, right? You've got options, you've got futures, you've got perpetuals, right? Is that what's forcing it down? Look, I couldn't tell you. It'd be all speculation, but it is quite strange. Even the guys here at MetaPlanet have acquired 632 million, in the past 24 hours. So it is getting scooped up, but it is weird that price keeps nuking every time that they do buy it. All right, let's see what Alex has to say. So yes, there's pessimism today. Just covered that. Bitcoin's performance versus other assets. So since 2023, Bitcoin has outperformed everything except NVIDIA. Since election day, it's outperformed everything except Tesla. And since the start of the year, it's outperformed everything except gold and NVIDIA. So, but 1%, 5%. In crypto terms, it's not really a lot, right? You're expecting to see double-digit returns at least. Otherwise, why would you invest in something so risky? Yeah, everyone has a near-term bias though, don't they? Here's the chart that he's posted. So here's Bitcoin versus NVIDIA, Bitcoin versus Tesla, Bitcoin versus QQQ. This is gold, and then this top one here is the S&P. So it is up, but since July, it's been down only. We want to hope for a reversal. That's looking, it does look head and shoulders-y, doesn't it? It's not great. The last time Bitcoin's 90 realized vol was this low was the end of 2016. Yeah, but the end of 2016, there wasn't as much TradFi, right? So while the vol could go up, I don't think it's going to go up as high as it did in 2017. Elias has started purchasing Solana for its DAT. Okay. Worse than the prices themselves, this would lead to is the damage these prices would do to the chart structure, weekly swing failure, lead price back below previous monthly swings, with late cycle buyers all trapped overhead. Well, yes, this is true. So it's looking like he's saying this is the same as this. So if this falls below here, it's basically done. And that's what I said before. Like, this is the support area. If we don't recover in October, November, it's done. We're done. Like, we will be destroyed more. The enthusiasm will be done. So caution retail here. For people that trade on leverage, you still got to factor in the fees. And these holding costs on Aster are crazy because there's so much activity, so much trading, and everybody is like leveraged to the tits. The funding is crazy high. So it's fine if you're going short because longs are paying shorts at the moment. But this guy's lost 3K just in fees. And he didn't take any profits at $1.95 because he thought we're going much higher. So you need to have your invalidation points before you enter. Yeah, but I understand the FOMO. I understand where he held. At least he admitted it. RIP. US lawmakers ask the SEC to implement President Trump's executive order opening the $12.5 trillion 401k retirement market to crypto. I thought that was done. Isn't that what the executive order actually means, that it can be done? Turns out, no. So yeah, the SEC needs to actually do something about it. Why haven't they? Well, that will flood in a whole bunch of money. But the problem is that money will only be going into, Solana or Bitcoin or Ethereum or, any of the things that have like a DAT or an ETF or some sort of vehicle that a large institution can buy into. There are very few memes that have those sorts of things. So like Doge is one, Bonk is one, Pengu is one. So yeah, be careful which ones you choose. All right, we'll end it on this one. This guy is comparing liquidation levels in the past to how prices behaved. So in the last 2 years, whenever we've had liquidations to the level we did, the lowest Bitcoin had been a week later was 3.5%. That would put it at 109. Don't expect any significant drop at this point. He believes that 111 was the low. In addition, total 2 and 3 and others have tested and holding above the 1-day 50 SMA. Let's have a look. So here's others. Here's the 1-day 50. Yes, that is true. Let's have a look at the weekly for others. Like, this is pretty good. I mean, it does look head and shoulders-y, but right, it's more of a curve. Like, this could, come back depending on how, ridiculous you make the curve. You could see it come back a little bit and then sort of take off. It seems fine. I mean, others seems okay. So he thinks nothing more than pig manipulation. Essentially, the market makers and big money want to totally annihilate any regular investors before they send this to its highest point. Well, yeah, true. I mean, but that's always a common thing. But I mean, just looking at these liquidation points, there wasn't really any great dip here. Here, it almost started to go up, but it came back a month later, but then went up. Here it was straight up, and then that was mid-year. Here it was down. Here it was down, then up. So most of the time it's up. That's a February one. So that's from seasonality perspective, you could agree, makes more sense. Here's June. What was this one? August. So, I mean, it's always good to have a flush out. That's for sure. Reset the open interest. And we just need to stay where we are now, like this line here. Here, this is where we are now. We don't want to fall below here, ideally. That's for me. Absolute worst case for me is the 200 EMA, which is this purple line here, which lines up currently with this. We don't want it falling below here, definitely. If we do, it's over, right? We're done. So here's the weekly 200 on log, right? You can see that it's been the bottom each time, right? Springboard off. You definitely don't want to be coming back to here. You don't want to be coming back down this far. That would be cycle over sort of stuff. So the 50 for me is the lowest that I would want to see on the weekly time frame. That would still indicate that we're still in the bull trend, because you can see here we've bounced off it here and then here and then here. So if we did it again, still fine, right? What I don't like, the only thing I don't like about that scenario, if you did it now and not later, is that here it bounced, but it was still above the previous swing. So here's the swing now, right? So if it hits the 50, we're below that swing, which means it's like it is a higher low, but it's also lower than the last swing high. So you want price to sort of, do that and wait for this to come up, then it hits that and then takes off. That would be the ideal scenario. If it touches it now, it's broken this, and it makes me nervous. So we wait and see. October is a week away. Q4 starts. Vibes hopefully will be high. They usually are. October, November are the best months. So hang in there. When it's not over yet, we haven't broken structure. We had a bad day. We should be good. Do start seriously thinking about, if you haven't already, where you're going to take money off the table. Okay? Just take some. Like, even if it's 10%, right? If you still think we've got more to go, fuckery can happen. Have some dry powder. You can buy dips, right? Take some off the table. It will make you feel better, if nothing else. Like, there's less stress because you haven't got so much on the line. Okay? Cool. Be good the rest of the week. I will talk to you guys soon.